Today I wanted to talk about the biggest stumbling block you'll ever face applying Neville Goddard's teachings or any other metaphysical books from the past. People learn about marvelous truths concerning the power of their minds, yet for some reason nothing really improves long term for most. What is the problem? What is this stumbling block hidden from view? Odds are you've already been using your imagination, but mostly it has been used against yourself. I will try and reveal it to you now. So here we are, studying powerful material that is claiming you can achieve anything you want. You can have anything you want. You can be, do, or have anything you want. Well, how come it doesn't work out for most people? In fact, only briefly through periods of their lives do things seem to improve, and then they might stagnate all over again. Perhaps even worse, everything seems to crumble back into nothingness. When you first study Neville Goddard and hear about the power of your imagination, let's be completely honest about it. This is information going way beyond what we were taught growing up. It is considered unrealistic, pseudoscience that has no worth, wild ideas that are not based in reality. But I want you to consider for a moment that the mind is really the only power you'll ever need in order to improve your life. Neville Goddard simply talked about one of your mental faculties called imagination, which of course is a power of the mind. So what we are discovering if we pay close attention is that the difficulty lies in overcoming our old habitual way of living. The average person does not live through their imagination, they live through their senses. The average person does not think for themselves, they rather follow the thoughts of society or their government. All of this on its own is not inherently bad or anything, but if we want to apply the power of our minds, we're going to have to take the responsibility of controlling our own mind. It is something we have to learn. The younger we are, the better, but even if you're an adult, you can still learn to control this mind of yours, for it's the only force you're ever gonna need in order to make something beautiful out of this journey. If we work with the insight that imagination creates reality, as Neville tried to reveal in his own marvelous way, we can also consider the words of Wallace Wattles, who wrote over 100 years ago that we must learn to think truth regardless of appearances. So Neville would say we must ignore our senses. It does not matter what my senses are telling me about my current life, and Wallace is saying the same thing in a different way. We must think and contemplate the truth about the power of our mind, regardless of appearances. In other words, regardless of what our senses are telling us. If you go over enough metaphysical teachings, you will discover, like I have, they are all saying the same thing. And then, if this is the case, if I don't seem to be able to improve my life and achieve my dreams, then there must be something I am doing wrong. I know it can be rather confronting, but I will be absolutely valuable if we are not afraid to admit this to ourselves. For what you will most likely find out is that your old habitual way of living and thinking is getting in the way. Constantly it is getting in the way until we finally develop the power to throw it off our shoulders. It is a huge and painful weight to carry around. It is painful to walk around doubting yourself and your abilities. It is painful to have dreams you think you can never achieve. It is absolutely disheartening to live in the way we generally are taught to live. People don't take enough time to analyze what they can really do if they use their minds exactly in the way Neville suggested we do. What would really happen if we live by imagination? Absolute joy will occur. I can still catch myself even to this day perhaps feeling like I'm not worthy of something, that I don't deserve something, etc. But this is complete nonsense. God wants you to have the best in life, and you do deserve it. The problem though is that our way of thinking has to line up with this concept also. So if somebody says you deserve the very best life has to offer, well, odds are something in your mind does not agree with it. You somehow find reasons why this can't be true. That right there is part of the old habitual way of living trying to hold you back. Don't let it. Live by imagination. Think whatever you want to think about every area of your life. At first it's going to feel absolutely nuts. You might feel like you're losing your mind by doing it. But this is the price you have to pay in order to finally unleash the real power of your consciousness. Every time you are confronted through your senses with something bad, with debt, with lack and limitation of any kind, think the complete polar opposite into being. Can you see why at first it might feel like you're going insane by doing that? Because it goes against everything we were taught. This kind of behavior is called being unrealistic. But it is only unrealistic if one thinks of wealth while physically in debt without doing anything about it. What will happen if you imagine and think about things how you want them to be is that your mind will start attracting the way and means towards its realization. You will become compelled from within to do certain things, to perhaps go to certain places, contact certain people, etc. And by following through on those inner intuitive hunches, you will literally alter your reality. That is therefore part of the invisible stumbling block. People know they should imagine and think about what they want, but then many actually don't physically follow through on acting on their own dream. They don't act on the hunches that come to them. But if you also apply that part of the puzzle, then the magic really starts occurring. Then the power of imagination truly reveals itself, and you can analyze how your own imagination generates certain thoughts, which generates certain ideas, which if acted upon change everything around you. This I also have found out from experience, but we want to humble ourselves and honestly ask ourselves, if things are not improving for me, what am I potentially doing wrong? Now don't feel bad about it, simply be honest with yourself. It is the only way towards wisdom and to learn from your mistakes. Most people like to point fingers and blame everyone and everything for their issues except themselves, but ultimately you are the creator of your own reality, both physically and spiritually. It is once you look at your own behavior with enough clarity, you might finally see where you are going wrong and then adjust the error, and you will start seeing things improve instantly. I have found it to work for myself, and I also know it can work for everyone else out there. If you've been struggling applying Neville Goddard's material, hopefully this gave you some more insights to consider, for truly if your imagination is operating in the right way and you're thinking in the right way, then you will become magnetically tied to your own dream, and through that focus you will grow towards it. Most people, without realizing it, are still spending more time using their imagination in the wrong way. They imagine how things might go wrong for them. They are also not thinking properly. They think in such a way that causes them doubts and worries. Really catch yourself in the act and adjust the error. This is the way towards wisdom and towards finally getting the results you want. Go to the polar opposite of all your worries and fears and abide in this state of mind. Give yourself over to those thoughts and imaginative visions. Let it unfold through you. Do not be afraid. Do not worry you are going insane. Even if it feels uncomfortable at first, know that this is the way towards realizing your biggest dreams in life. The fact you feel uncomfortable doing it only reveals your old habitual way of imagining and thinking, which is the only thing that can keep you stuck. But by persistently following through on this new attitude, you will change your whole mind around for the better. Those imaginative visions of things going wrong, those thoughts of doubts and worries will evaporate. Realize within your heart, by doing all this, I am not losing my mind. I am discovering the power of my mind. Unleash the power of your imagination and thoughts. Start to imagine about what you want to achieve. Start thinking about the beauty of your dream. Fill your entire consciousness with the good you desire and let the old way of living go. Enter into this new way of living and rise like a phoenix from the ashes. If you're really observant, you will discover that in many cases we have already been using our imagination. But the problem is we've been using it against ourselves, by imagining everything we shouldn't. This is that subtle activity we must consciously change around whenever we catch ourselves doing it. So the biggest stumbling block you're ever gonna face is to let go of your old way of living, so you can embrace this new way of living that God had in store for you since the beginning of time. But they that are ready to let go of the old and embrace the new instantly make themselves worthy and capable of success, regardless of present circumstances or past failures. So you see, whenever you're having issues trying to apply any of the information you're learning about, from either Neville Goddard, my videos, or whoever it is, really analyze to what extent you're still allowing your old habitual way of thinking and imagining control you. Because ultimately we are suggesting you're using your mind perhaps in a radically different way. And it has to happen. You have to let go of your old self-image, of the old way of living, in order for this new power to sort of activate within your life, to actually become able to show itself, to help you out, to cause things to change for the better. That's really what we want to occur. Now, if this video has helped you, please hit the like button below. And if you're new to this channel, consider subscribing to receive inspirational videos on a regular basis. And with that being said, dear viewer, never forget that we are the dreamers.